For the longest time, I've been struggling with drawing the perfect face, and finally, I have found the answer. So I have been doing a lot of studying, and one day, I was in the cafeteria and I was like, aha, I got it. So I pulled out a napkin and I did a little doodle, and I figured out that the most important part of the face is this red line right here. Let's break it down real quick. First off, I downloaded the head model app. Before, I drew faces in like a really symbolic way, kind of just like you got your eyes, you got your nose, and you got your mouth, you know? Simple like that. But I didn't want to do that. What I wanted to learn was how to draw faces accurately. So I got this facehead app to learn what's called the planes of the face. So as you can see, it's a 3D model of a head, of a crudely modeled head, and as you can see, there are a lot of planes. But one thing that I noticed is that the most important part of the face was this bridge right here. That's the bridge right down here. Let me break it down. So first we're going to start with the bridge that is between the nose and the forehead. Now, what kind of information does this give? Well, for one, this bridge right here is not only the eye line, but this trapezoidal shape right here is how far apart the eyebrows are. So again, we're going to start with a trapezoidal shape. Now, as you can see, the eyes are on a different plane than the rest of the head. So you can't just have like a head shape and then just smack a face onto it. No, you have to be methodical and realize where the planes of the face are. So the eyes are planted inside the geometry of the head. But a way to break it down is through this strip right in the middle. But the middle strip is broken up by the nose. So we can do that. We can make this long strip here for the eyes, and then let's just do the eyes. The eyes could be like 2 separate circles, okay? So we have right here for the nose, right here for the forehead. Now we're going to do the brow line, which is right above the trapezoidal shape. So after doing that, I usually like to develop the eyes a little bit. So we're gonna have the upper lid, tear duct, and then the lower lid. The eyes are kind of like 2 lemony shapes. Usually after the eyes, I like to do the eyelid up here just to add a little bit of dimension. So now that the eyes are complete, one thing that I would like to note is that when drawing eyes, in order to make sure that the eyes are not too far apart or too close together, I like to make it so that way you can snugly fit a third eye right in the middle of the 2 eyes. And that's how you can get a really good distance between the 2. Okay, that's neither here nor there, but how do we get to the rest of the planes of the face? Well, from here, not only do we know where the eye line is, but we also know where the nose begins. This rectangle represents the nose. But here's another thing. The eyes are inside of the skull. So if you can imagine, from the bottom, from the eye line here, just imagine a hexagonal shape, like that. This is the area where the eyes will sit inside of, not on top of, inside of. So essentially, as you can see here, it's shaded on the inside because it's the farthest away from the light coming from the top. So we can actually make that shade right now. And then we can even work on the eyebrows right now. So here's the thing, the nose comes down, but it slopes out towards the cheek planes, see? So what we want to do is, we're going to slope them out, slope them down. Yeah, I know the nose is a little wide, but you can experiment with however wide or narrow you want the nose to be. But interestingly enough, when it comes to noses, for some odd reason, it's more visually appealing not to draw the entire nose. Just imply where the shadows are. Don't ask me why that is. I don't make the rules. So usually it's the bottom part of the nose right here, this part right around here, this part around this side, maybe not even this part, maybe just like one nostril, two nostrils. Where the top of the nose is, that's where the shading will fall. And then usually the other side of the nose is just bathed in light. We just do not like noses for some odd reason. I feel like that's just a part of our psychology. Like, have you ever seen anime characters and they just either have the smallest nose in the universe or just lack the nose entirely? Usually when they emphasize the nose, it's like a visual gag or something. And from there we can also draw the mouth. So usually I have a short, quick way of drawing mouths. So you draw a dot here, and then a dot here, and then just a little U shape right here, and then just kind of imply that they're together. And then we can draw the bottom of the lip, and also underneath the lip there is also, it's not on the model, but underneath the lip because the lips tend to protrude outwards, there's usually a trapezoidal shape underneath the lips. And that's how we kind of draw a face. So yeah, as you can see, this is kind of a bit of a more masculine face. I think because I made the bridge of the nose a little wider. And this is more of a, it's a little bit more androgynous, isn't it? Ah, yes, I almost forgot. The top part of the lip. Usually what I like to do is I just like to kind of have an implication like, hey, there's a bit of a top lip here. And then maybe just a hint, maybe just a little, barely a nothing hint of a shade. And there we go. Now, usually when I want to correct mistakes, what I usually do is we're going to select this and then flip horizontally. Hey! It's not that bad! Usually when you flip an image that you drew, you could see all of the imperfections. Like for instance, I knew that the eyes were asymmetrical, so let's address that a little bit. There we go. Maybe I wanted to have like a little divot in the nose. I don't know. It's a very masculine face. Or even better, let's make the eyebrows nice and thick. Just like that. So as you can see, the most important part of the face is this red area right here. Right in between where the nose and the forehead meet. Alright, let's do this again. So we have the middle of the face. We can have a trapezoidal shape. We can make it as wide or as thin as we want. In where the midline is, we're just gonna draw it out a little here. We have the pupil, which is usually a circle. And the other pupil, let's make it a circle. Now we're going to bring the brow line up and around. Up and around. I usually like to complete the eyes. Alright, next we're gonna do the nose. Let's make it nice and narrow. Oh, something else I forgot to mention. You see the nose comes out as like a wide base trapezoid, kind of like that. So even if you start narrow, make sure you end it at least a little bit wider. We're gonna do this plane, and then this plane. Now, I usually like to draw the eyebrows at this point, and then let's do the nose like that, and then a nostril, another nostril, and then close it off. Now we're gonna do the shading, so this is gonna get an even shade, and then the eye sockets are gonna get an even darker shade. The plane's coming around like an eye mask, like a superhero mask, in this sort of hexagonal shape right here. We're gonna shade one half of the face, one half of the nose, on the underside of the nose. Maybe we can do like a small little itty bitty mouth, a little tiny little shadow down here. Maybe we can have thin lips. We're going to erase the rest of the nose here, and there we have it. Now, one part that's always a part of my personal routine is to check for corrections. We're gonna select it, we're gonna flip it, and then we're gonna fix it. But essentially, those are the parts of the face. And that is how you draw faces, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, I hope you had a good time drawing with me. I hope this helped you out in some way. If you'd like, comment, like, subscribe, and maybe even share it to a friend if they're having trouble drawing faces. I have had this issue for a really long time. Anyway, hope to see you again soon.